Okay, hello, everybody. Let me see here. Let me make sure this looks right. Okay, hi. I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. I'm on my phone today instead of my computer again because I felt that the quality looked a little bit better. So, if you're new to my channel, you're watching the replay. I'm Jessica Hicks. I'm a corporate recruiter, and today I'm going to be basically responding to some questions I see out on Reddit. So I'm a corporate recruiter, and occasionally I will go out on Reddit and look under either Reddit interviews or Reddit job search, and I'll just answer different questions that I see on there just on occasion at random. I normally go on there at least once or twice a week. And so I saw a lot of questions, basically the same questions over and over, just from different people. So I figured instead of typing, because I honestly don't like to type, since for work I do a lot of email and just responding back to different people. And I don't like it as much as just talking to folks. So I decided I would just make a video. Hopefully, it will help folks that are asking some of these same questions. So I'm going to get started with the first question, which is actually in the title. I'm going to put that one in the chat here. So, my first question that I see often on Reddit is, what is the best time to look for a job? And I will have a video coming soon with this topic, but the best time to look for a job is generally around the holidays, right before the beginning of the year, actually. And the reason why is that towards the end of the year, companies will already have their budgets in place for the next upcoming year. So, looking at 2021, there is going to be an increase in jobs. A lot of times companies are backfilling from the year past. That any positions that they didn't get to fill, those are going to be still available in January and February and even March sometimes. But also, there's going to be added positions to reach whatever goals the company has in place. So, looking at the goals for 2021, companies will say, okay, we need to focus on digital marketing, or we need to focus on certain products or customers or whatever. And so, in order to do that, oftentimes they need more manpower and they need specifically skilled people. So, January and February to start your year is going to be the best time for you to, jump into a job search. And for folks that have been looking throughout this year, keep it up, maybe re-strategize, because January and February, you're going to see a lot more positions become available compared to other months in the year. So that's the answer to that question. I mean, it's just a rule of thumb. Typically, recruiters, especially corporate recruiters, agency recruiters, know that the beginning of each year is always going to be the time of the year that's just the busiest for us when we're actively recruiting for positions. So I'm telling to you, if you're looking for a job, don't fret, don't get discouraged, because January and February are the best time of year to look for jobs. So that's my response to that question. Let me see here. Let me make sure I'm not talking to myself either. Okay. Because yesterday I was. So, moving on. So, that's the best time of the year to look for jobs. This next question I see is actually very common, and I don't really understand why people keep asking this question. But the question is job interview attire advice, and I'll give you some more details since I'm not gonna show the full Reddit screen on here since I'm on my phone. But I'll put this question in the chat. So this is the next one. All right, so this person is saying that they're saying, so I have heard a lot about how you should not wear all black to a job interview, but with a black dress, it is somewhat hard. So I guess this is a woman. A friend of mine hires in the same field I am interviewing in. She doesn't say the field. He or she doesn't say the field. And she gave me some advice. I was going to wear a black jumpsuit. No, honey. So she's saying a tailored and structured black jumpsuit, not one of the loose flowy ones. Hmm. With a matching blazer, gold earrings, necklace, and oh my goodness, black patent leather heels. This is the outfit she had picked out for me. Okay, I really need to know what industry. Like, are you trying to get a modeling job? Like, what is this? Okay, so they're saying, I'm worried it will be seen as too serious or too boring, but I've tried putting different colored blazers on top and it just does not match. Does anyone have any advice? Okay, so I'm looking at the comments here. Someone asked her what field or discipline is he or she in. I'm guessing this is a woman since they're saying they're going to do a jumpsuit. International medicine or medical equipment sales. For now, it would be a work from home, work from office kind of thing. Okay. And no one else replied to her. So I'm going to go back to this comment. Job interview attire in general, you want to dress more professional. So when I see this girl saying that she was going to wear a black jumpsuit and then gold earrings, a necklace, and black patent leather heels, I am cringing. I'm probably cringing on camera because I'm just like, no. So you definitely want to dress more professional. Now, if this lady has said she was going to be interviewing for a job in a Amazon warehouse, you can probably get a little more leeway with that, but I still wouldn't say go with what she's trying to wear. So my advice to this girl is to just go with either a black or navy blue dress. That's to the knees, that looks professional, of course, not showing anything. Um, but fitted, nice dress with a nice blazer. It should be comfortable for her and it's not too over the top. Now with the heels, patent leather heels, I would just say go with just, some she could even wear a pair of black boots. It is wintertime right now. She could just wear, some dress shoes. Keep it simple. With the gold earrings, I don't really know too much detail. If they're studs, that's probably okay. I think I'm just nervous if it's hoop earrings. Like, don't come into this interview with big hoop earrings. That just does not look professional. The necklaces should be fine, especially if it's something dainty like this, not very distracting. Now, if it's like you're trying to wear some gaudy, like big necklace, I would just say no, just leave it. Just leave it. Because when it comes to interviews, you don't really want to be very distracting in your dress. So you don't want bangles that are clanky and loud. So every time you move your hands, you hear it and you see it. You don't want really big necklaces or a really big watch for men. That's really not what you need to go for. So that's my advice to this person as far as job interview attire. Just keep it simple. I don't know why someone told you not to wear black, but black and blue, they're pretty standard dress if you're not going to wear a suit. But you can wear a black or blue dress, wear a blazer. That's where you can have a pop of color if you want to. If you wanted to wear like a white blazer, I don't recommend white just because it gets dirty easily. You don't want any accidents before the interview. But you can have a blue blazer or even like a coral color, like something that stands out a bit more if you're interested in doing that. But she's saying this is for a medical sales job. Come on, it's not even like a fashion type of position. So please, girls, do not wear a black jumpsuit. Don't wear any gold hoop earrings. If they're studs, that's probably okay. Or if they're little hoops like this that I happen to be wearing, I'm sure that's going to be fine. Just don't do anything over the top. So that's my response to this girl on here asking about job interview attire. It's so interesting that question always comes up because to me, it's pretty straightforward, but people really have challenges with figuring out, okay, what in the world do I wear? But in most cases, just a rule of thumb, keep it as professional as you can, dress up versus down. and to this girl saying that she was going to wear a black jumpsuit. Don't wear a jumpsuit. Please don't wear a jumpsuit. So that's my advice there. Oh, hey. Hi, King of Kills. Hi, Slobodan. Hello, Vernez. Welcome. So I see you guys are just joining. The question I answered in the beginning was the question in the title. So I basically just talked about the best time of the year to look for a job. I will have a video coming up talking about that in a little more detail soon this week. But basically, January and February, Bernaz, you might know this, but that's the best time of the year to look for a new job because companies have their budgets in place, their goals for the year are set, and oftentimes they need the manpower to support those goals, and they have the funding already in hand to place those hires. So you don't have to run into any scenarios where on the recruiting end, we sometimes have challenges where we're recruiting for a job, but there's no longer a budget for it, so it gets canceled and things like that happen. So beginning of the year, hands down, that's the best time to look for a job. So again, for folks coming in, I am answering some different job questions that I see out on Reddit. I do this often. I often just go in and I type, but I just don't feel like typing. I type all day for work, so I am answering them via video, and hopefully they get to see it. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm up to today. All right, so the next one here is, so this one is the question about, ooh, I like this one, addressing work history gaps. Okay, let's see what this person has to say. So they're saying, I've been getting a lot of feedback that I am overqualified. People have suggested I remove some experience from my resume, but I worry this will create a new problem with a gap in work history. I plan to remove my most recent work history of consulting for the last 3 years. What should I say when the inevitable questions on gap in work comes from? So I think this person might be getting the wrong type of advice, and they don't provide any more details. I'm going to look in the comments in a minute. But so with this one, it's challenging because it depends on what field you're in. I question whether this person might be looking at the right type of opportunities, because if she's getting, he or she, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but if they're getting feedback about being overqualified, well, it could be that they might be overqualified for the position that they're looking to be placed into. As a recruiter, if I'm looking for a junior level person or entry level person, I'm not going to go for someone that has 10 years of experience in the field, mostly because a lot of times they're looking for someone to do very task driven, projects, or we may not be willing to pay a certain amount, or the hiring manager is looking for a certain profile that happens to be someone that's a little more inexperienced. So there's a host of things that come with that and that HR and managers have to consider. But and I get challenged with the overqualified piece too. But I think that what this person should do instead of getting rid of all of their experience is highlight their more recent experience instead of removing their consulting. They're saying their recent work history of consulting, keep that experience, and what they would take away or at least remove some of the details about in their resume would be the last, the earlier years. The information that's not even they don't even recall their day-to-day responsibilities. So if they have 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience, they would remove the last, I don't know, their experience back in the early 2000s, I guess. They will remove that or take away some of the details under those jobs and highlight their most relevant experience. I think that would be helpful from a resume standpoint, but I think their issue really is not applying to the right jobs. And I'm seeing some comments in here. Let me see. Hello, Slobodan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly if you're still in here. As a Serbia migrant, should I wear my uniform to the interview? I don't know what common practices are, Slobodan, in Serbia. I would say dress the most professional as you can. I can't talk to that. I'm so sorry. I'm in the US. I haven't been to Serbia, so I can't even try to address that one. Hungage says, "Hey, yeah, can you read these comments?" Okay. I'm looking at the comments. Let's see. Slobodan, I do not believe the woman reads the comments. Okay. Well, I don't know. You're welcome to be in here as long as you're polite. Let me see. These questions are quite bad, and no one is overqualified in the current job market. Well, Slobodan, that's where you're incorrect because candidates can get a response that they're overqualified. And I don't love that response because I think that most companies should just have a minimum, you know, criteria when it comes to experience. But the real truth of the matter is, if there's an entry level job, most likely someone that is very senior level is just not going to get that job. The company is going to be looking for someone that's junior level. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm saying that's common practice in most workplaces. So with that with that situation, what my recommendation is to anyone that's hearing that they appear to be overqualified is either, yes, look at the resume and make sure that your resume is representing your experience in the right way. Like, for example, for myself, if I highlighted my, I don't know, experience in high school and college and represented it in a different way, I might look overqualified for certain positions. Um, but then, two, you have to look at the actual job at hand. Like, if I'm a mid-level, employee, or I have management level experience, well, then I'm probably not going to look for a job that's titled a specialist position with a minimum of 2 years of experience. So I hope that makes sense and gets my point across. Let's see, washable marker. I just want to make YouTube my full-time job. I hear you. I mean, hey, take YouTube for what it is right now. Things can always change. Let's see. Vernez says, I like that, Vernez. Thank you. Yes, you can be overqualified, the employer told me. Yes, yes. And I mean, I'm recruiting for different positions and I talk to hiring managers on a regular basis. So I know that, there's a certain mindset that typically managers are looking for, and there is a bias. And again, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong when you're having that conversation about someone that's overqualified, right? But a lot of managers see the benefits in having like younger, and I know that's not something that we should say, but let's get into it. It's younger people or less qualified people. They meet the basic criteria, but they're not at a level of someone that's a senior expert because they're typically moldable, they're teachable, they're gonna do things in the practices of the company. So there's a lot of different biases. Some are real, some are not, that come with the whole idea of someone being unqualified. So thank you for that comment, Vernez. Washable marker. Okay, washable marker. Good luck. I don't know if I would be putting any ink on my face, just in general. I don't know if my YouTube world is that serious yet. All right, let me see here. Oh, and this one, let me look at the comments for this one because this one did have some comments. So someone's saying, yeah, so some of the comments in here in response to this person are agreeing with me as well. Some are just saying that Someone told me the word overqualified is just a fancy way of saying you're too old. Personally, I don't think experience and knowledge should be a disadvantage. Yeah. And I have my thoughts on that too. Um, I don't think that companies should place like a years of, you need 3 years to 5 years of experience. I think there should just be a minimum, because who knows, maybe you do find someone that is, more qualified than others, but they're a great match for the role. So I get the struggle with that. I totally understand it, because sometimes, and I talked about this in my live yesterday, a lot of women are leaving the workplace or trying to get a job that's less work, or, they don't want to stay in management. They want to do something that takes up a little less time. So they want to shift their career in that way. But then it's a challenge because they have all this great experience. And so on paper, it's hard to see that they'd be a great fit for the role, and they're open to taking a lower level position. So I do think that highlighting the most recent experience and removing some of that dated history from the resume can be beneficial in that case, because on paper you're not going to look as senior, but then when you actually talk to the person, you can tell them about your scenario and say, hey, this is where I'm at. I don't want to be in management. I'm looking to do this. I have X, Y, and Z experience, and you can really win them over from a conversation versus just your resume, which, and I talk about this on my channel, your resume is just your job advertisement. So whatever you need to adjust in your resume, you need to do it so that you can get the opportunity to talk to someone. That is the end goal. You're trying to get an opportunity, you're trying to get that chance to actually speak to an actual person versus, fighting with the applicant tracking system and having someone look at your resume for like 8 seconds and make a decision. So whatever you need to adjust, I would definitely do it. So anyway, that would be my advice to that person. Let me see what else is in here, and I'll check the comments too. So apparently I'm not checking these comments fast enough, guys. Let me see here. Chaz. Hello, Chaz. You're saying tips or thoughts. Let me see. Okay. Tips or thoughts on making yourself look older in the interview if you look and sound younger than you are. That's interesting. And I think that's a good question. I feel like for women, it's a little easier because we can make ourselves look a little older just by putting on the right type of makeup or dressing in a certain way. But I think for a guy, and Chaz, I'm assuming you're a guy, one thing would be to dress professionally. So you may want to think about wearing a suit instead of, like with a tie and everything, to appear a little older. The other thing is based on how you speak, because there are some older folks that don't sound very mature. So it's not that you want to necessarily look older, Chaz, right? You want to appear very mature and experienced. So I feel like the manner in which you speak will be most helpful. So the more confident you are during that interview and the way you're able to speak by using specific examples of where you have done things and where you've accomplished certain things in your work history is going to make you seem more mature or experienced. So whether you look young or not, I remember I actually talked to a person last year who he was a different type of candidate. So he had experience, but it wasn't through a standard job. I think he was out of college maybe 3 years. Ideally, what we were looking for was someone with closer to 8 years of experience. But this guy had actually been an entrepreneur in digital marketing and had done all of the work that we were looking for. So this guy, 3 years out of school, we actually hired this guy. And it was because, well, one, he sold me over during the phone interview because he was able to specifically talk about how he was able to accomplish different goals for his clients in the digital marketing space. and he was able to talk about how he could be an asset to the company. So he had really done his homework. He had examples ready to go to talk about. So that's my advice that I would give to you. Let me know if you have further questions on that, Chaz. Very good question. Yes. So King of Kill is providing another great comment here. Yes. King of Kill, a lot of people do think that overqualified just means too expensive. That's not always 100% the case, because, and it can mean a lot of different things depending on the job, depending on the company, but sometimes it does mean over expensive, too expensive. You look at someone's resume, you see that they have 20 years of experience, and you look at someone with 5 years of experience. And if we're only looking for 5 and we're only looking for a certain level, well, someone could assume that someone is looking for more money. But for me, what I base the money on is what you're putting in your application. So if you're saying that you're looking for a certain amount, well, if that's beyond what we're willing to pay, most likely you're not going to be a fit for that role. Now, there are ways to get around putting anything, like some people just put negotiable or put a 0 in there. Well, in that case, if you look good on paper, I'm going to talk to you, and then we're going to have that dialogue about what your expectations are, and then we'll talk about whether it's realistic or not for what we're going to be able to offer. So that's, again, having the conversation is going to be the biggest key, because sometimes the overqualified thing is more along the lines of the experience and thinking from an HR standpoint. Okay, is this person going to want to come in and take over? Or is this person going to challenge the manager every step of the way? Is this person going to jump into this role? They're only looking to get into the company, and they're going to leave first chance they get, or they're going to want a promotion after 1 year, which most companies, they look for you to be in the role at minimum a year, but most likely like 2 years. So between 1 and 2 years. So those are some of the challenges, because typically if we're hiring, we want this person to be in the role for a while. Now, my thoughts on that is that people can leave anytime. Someone could walk into the job, be there 3 months, and bounce. So it is a challenge, but that's kind of the real conversations that we have with hiring managers a lot of the time, as recruiters. Let me see here. Vernez is agreeing with King Kills. Yeah. And Vernez, you offer a great point. You can't work for $16 an hour. Yeah. I think the issue comes in when it's someone that's saying, yes, I'm a senior level person, but I'm actually willing to take a pay cut. And so that's where you have those issues of, well, if it's solely the money, well, don't look past this person over here just because they're more experienced. They're willing to take a pay cut. But you do have to have those conversations. And I've hired people that were, quote unquote, too qualified or overqualified. And we had to have the conversation about what the expectations for that person in that role was and how long they were meant to be in that role. So, and as far as I know, that person is still in the role. They were hired 2 years ago, I think, year and a half. I'm really bad with dates, guys, especially this year. I feel like everything's been blending together. Let me see here. Oh, good, Chaz. I'm so happy to hear that. Let me know if you have other questions. Sheldon. Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Hey, Paulindo, with the shades on. Thank you. Yeah, I had to throw on a sweater. It's kind of cold. Let's see. Oh, Chaz, you're a girl. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, then in that case, for a woman, makeup, definitely use makeup, but also talking to real experiences is definitely going to be key. So I'm definitely glad that helps. For women, you put on that makeup a lot of times, you look a little older. So that can be a little easier. Let me see here. Paolino saying hi to the people. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on the comments for anything else. So let me see here. Okay, I like this question because I don't actually see this one as often. So this person is asking, they have a third job interview being held at a restaurant. Any advice? Okay, cool. Well, my first piece of advice for this person is don't order anything super expensive. Because I feel like people actually do that. Like they'll think like, oh, well, this is on the company or whatever, and they order the most expensive thing. Don't do that. All right, let's see here. I've heard this is more of a culture and personality type of interview, but I'm curious about other people's experience with interviews like this. What can I expect? How long do they typically go for? And what kind of things do you talk about, etc.? So I actually last year had my first real interview over a breakfast. So, at a restaurant, and I had a hard time finding a restaurant, but I was ultimately offered a position with this company, did not move forward with it just because of some personal reasons. I was kind of feeling like it wasn't going to be a long term match for me. And it was a little bit political, so I was like, man, probably not. So, anyway, I'll do another video on how to properly vet offers and job offers at some point. But with this, I would say my first tip is to find out as much as you can to prepare for that interview. Make sure you know exactly where the restaurant is, where to find it, look up the restaurant, look up the menu, know what you're going to order, from the drink to the meal. I don't know if this is breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I have no idea. They don't say in this comment. Let me see if I don't know. But that would be my first thing, is to find out as much info as you can. Get an understanding about the timing, like how much time will you have on this interview. Typically, this person is right. Normally, this is just more of a culture check. Make sure that the hiring manager or the hiring team vibes well with the person that they're thinking of hiring. They want to see how they act outside of a corporate setting. So getting more feel of their actual personality, because a lot of times with interviews, and we know this, right? You turn it on for the interview. Some people actually act completely different from when they interview to when they actually join a company and they start working. So much that it's like, is this the same person? So with this interview, that's all it's about. It's just that culture check. Let's see if we vibe. Let me get to know you at a little more personal level. However, here's where I think people mess up with some interviews, is getting too casual. Because even though it's at a restaurant, it's still an interview. So if this is a dinner or lunch meeting, don't do the whole alcohol thing. Get some water, get some tea, get some soda, but don't do the alcohol. You want to know exactly what you're saying to this person. The other thing is, you want to be prepared. You want to actually bring your resume just in case they want to talk to anything in your experience. Again, it typically is a culture check, but you want to be prepared and be ready with your resume, and you want to have like a notebook. I like those like really slim, I wish I had one right by me right now, but those slim kind of, not a binder, but a little folder where you can keep things and it's nice and clean. Bring something like that along. And I do see some comments. I will get to that in just a second. But bring that along. Just bring it. Have a pen and notepad ready so that you can ask questions if you need to. Have some questions ready. Some things that you just want to know more about the position or the company itself or your team. Have those at the ready. It's a great chance to find out some more details. And then the last piece of advice I guess I will give on this is just, I talked about the whole don't order the most expensive thing, but also don't order anything super messy. So you definitely want to show really nice etiquette. So you're not going to order like a messy burger or something that you're eating with your hands. Like, think about how you're going to look to the other person. Get something that's fairly easy to eat, that's not going to potentially leave a mess. So for myself, I wouldn't order spaghetti. I wouldn't order noodles or something. I'd probably order maybe a salmon and salad, something light, something that's not super expensive. So I'm not going to order necessarily the lobster and steak, but just order something, that you can eat casually, not focusing on the meal. You're not focusing on the meal. The restaurant and the meal is fine, but remember your end goal of the food. I mean, of the job. Look at me, I'm talking about the food, but of the job. You want the job, not the food. The food can be delicious, but it's just there by chance. Just make sure you're focusing on that person, engaging with them, and letting them know that you want the job, asking any relevant question of them, and being really engaging during that time. Let me see. Oh, you're so sweet, Paolindo. I see your comment in there. Hey, Tina, how are you? Welcome. Aloha. Let me see. Oh, Paolindo has raised a really good point. You forgot don't eat garlic. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, don't eat anything smelly for sure. And let me think, is there anything else I would say? Oh, something else I would just add, don't forget to bring like some toothpicks or something you can have in your purse, or I don't know, guys, your wallet, so that you can, take care of picking out anything that you get in your teeth and stuff. So it's okay to take a bathroom break and come back out. Just again, you're still kind of playing the role. Don't get too loose. And the last thing, to my point earlier about the alcohol, you need to watch what you say. This is not the time to talk about and this is a real thing that has happened. Someone has said this. Yeah, my cousin had gotten locked up, and then I had to deal with this issue, and then I had to do that. No, this is not the time where you're talking about family. It's totally fine to say, oh yeah, we did this for the holidays or whatever. Really light things. Do not offer any personal details to that extent. Nothing incriminating, nothing embarrassing, just light conversation. All right, so I hope that helps for anyone thinking about that. Hey, Jasmine. Let me see if I can show you up here. It keeps going back to Paolindo, Jasmine. I can't show your comment, but I will read it. Where do you find keywords for jobs? I just came here. Well, welcome in, Jasmine. Okay, so we're talking about keywords. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, let me try this real quick. Yeah, it's not letting me highlight things. So this is what I'll do. I'll go to YouTube and highlight it this way. Since my phone just won't let me be great, if I can do it this way. Okay. Okay, so where do you find keywords for jobs? The easy part of that is going to be the job description, is where you're going to find keywords, but also you can use synonyms. So let's say I'm looking for a recruiter job. I would look for different ways that you can say recruiter. So just using Google. So you can say talent advisor, you can say recruiter, you can say recruiting specialists, you can say recruiting manager. There's so many different ways you can say it. A lot of times I like to use LinkedIn and Indeed to just search job titles. I actually do this as a recruiter because when we post a job, we're posting a job advertisement. So we want to make sure that we're posting something, the job description. So if I'm saying some of my skills are recruiting and talent advising and LinkedIn and compliance and all these different buzzwords, I'm going to make sure they actually match up with that job description as well. So it's not like I'm taking the job description and putting everything in my resume, but I'm just highlighting some of the keywords they're using and making sure that I actually have those things where it's relevant in my resume too. Let me see here. Oh, Chaz, you have a great name. If Chaz is your real name, you have a great name for because it can go either way. Like for me, how I just thought you were a guy, that's great. And I don't know if Chaz is short for anything, but that's really good because names like Chaz or Taylor or Jesse, they're they can go either way. It could be a guy or girl. So from a resume standpoint, typically you're not going to, or the recruiter or the hiring manager is not going to immediately know that you're a female. So, or I'm trying to not say female. Someone, King Akil made me realize this. You're not, they're not going to know that you're a woman. So I think that will be helpful for you. In what area of IT do you work in? Because I'm a tech recruiter. We should definitely connect. The only way they'll know is when they actually see you, and then also when they see your LinkedIn profile, if you have a LinkedIn. Oh, yes, Vernez, for the dinner interview or lunch interview, whatever, do not eat tuna. That's a good point. Would you say it's okay to look at your resume on your laptop? Okay. Would you say it's okay to look at your resume on your laptop screen as you're doing a video interview? Is that understandable, or is that a lack of eye contact with the camera a distraction? Yeah, I guess it depends on you, but I think that would be a little distracting. So you're saying if you have your resume just on your laptop, are you asking that because you don't have a printer? Because I think it would be worth having a printout of your resume, because a lot of times it's just easier to see. You can glance at your resume and let the person know you're looking at your resume. Now, with a laptop, it could work. I mean, it could work just fine. I just think you'll be glancing, or if you're trying to shuffle to look for it, and I just don't know how that might work. But my recommendation would be, if you can, to have a printout of your resume. Plus, that way, when you're being asked questions, it's in a visible line of sight where you can kind of reflect off of your resume to answer some of the questions. Some people find that very helpful. As far as eye contact goes, as long as you're looking at the camera, you should be okay. Um, and you don't have to look at the camera the entire time. Like, we know that's not we know that's not realistic, right? But you should be looking at the camera for the most part. Hey Harold, welcome in. How are you? Let me see. Paulino's laughing. Too late. Salmon tends to have garlic powder on it. Oh, really? Well, I think Paolino is referring to the actual garlic, because that stuff. Ooh. Howie, hey, welcome. Jasmine Pearl says, job hunting is so stressful. Oh no, I 100% agree. The good news, Jasmine, is I think you joined later when I talked about this, but to the title, the question in my title, the best time to look for a job is January and February. So the odds are for you. I feel like I'm on the Hunger Games. The odds are forever in your favor, but the odds are for you at the beginning of the year, because there are more jobs typically available, and they're real jobs most likely. They are jobs that are already budgeted. The company is ready to go. They need these positions because they have X, Y, and Z goals that they have to get the manpower for to support them. Jasmine Pearl is so garlicful too. Off the name on the clear part of the screen. Click off the name on a clear. Oh, yes. So Burnett or Burn. I'm about to mess up your name again, and I know your name. We went through this. So what I did was, like, on my phone, the whole screen was just highlighted. I'm just like, what is happening? Let me see here. Harold says, I need to apply for a retirement job. Well, sign me up for that too. When you find that retirement job, let me know as well. I'll be ready to retire in 5 years, I think. Are there any cover letter templates? So, okay. I don't really focus on cover letters, Jasmine. And the reason why is just because in most of the job fields that I work on, so I just filled some security positions, some IT roles. I've also worked on marketing and even manufacturing roles. I mean, most recruiters are not looking at the cover letter. Now, the one time in my career that I did focus on cover letters is when I was looking for fellowship candidates. And this was a fellowship for a specific PR company. And to really get the top quality candidates, we had like they had to provide writing samples and their resume and their cover letter and fill out an application with all these different questions. So it was like it was intense. So that's the only time I really looked at cover letters. My tips for cover letters, though, would be, yeah, you can use a template. There are plenty of templates online. I just don't offer templates for cover letters. I am working on resume templates, and I do offer resume writing services if you're interested in that. But just keep it short and sweet. It doesn't have to be, it should not ever be longer than a page, a paragraph or two, basically highlighting key things that are not going to be highlighted from your resume. So it should be things outside of your resume. And then also going more in depth with why you'd be a great match for the role and confirming your interests. Let's see here. Chaz. Okay. I'm actually using my brother's account at the moment. Okay, gotcha. But yes, I am an undergraduate senior looking into business analyst or data analyst. Oh, girl. Yeah, we need to connect. Find me on LinkedIn, please, because I have had just over the last year 7 or 8 business analyst jobs. And so, a business analyst, the main thing that typically we're looking for is we're looking for an expertise in a certain area. I've had business analysts that needed to be focused on master data management, Salesforce, digital technology, e-commerce, you name it. But they're basically just more of that liaison between the technical and the business teams, and just being able to understand the technical aspects and communicate that well across the people that are not technical, and you'll be solid. That's my biggest advice to you. I think you'll be great. I think the issue is just getting that first start into that field. But yeah, I think we should definitely connect. Harold said, "Welcome to Walmart." No, don't retire to Walmart, Harold. That's not what I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning retirement on the beach, like on some beach in Hawaii somewhere. That's where I'm envisioning. Let me see. Jasmine says, I was applying for a job and it required a cover letter in order for me to submit it. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes they do. I think that's stupid. I really do. Unless it's really required and the recruiter's actually going to read it. I think if anything, depending on the job, it's probably because if you're applying to more junior level jobs, or their ATS is just set up that way. And then that's a great way to, I guess, narrow down the pool of applicants that you're receiving. But a lot of bigger companies, I mean, they're stepping away from like having you have to provide a cover letter. And some, I know my company, we don't even require you to provide a resume depending on the position. So, I think that's a weird practice. I know some companies do it, but I think it's silly. But I mean, in that case, you definitely want to spend some time on the cover letter. I would use a template and just make sure you're very careful about making sure there's no template language left over in your cover letter. Keep it short and sweet, and I would just move forward from there. But a lot of the focus is typically going to be on your resume. Now, I do question, because sometimes where I do see cover letters more so are with writing jobs, PR jobs, communication jobs. When I worked at the PR agency, we did, for our positions, we required cover letters for some of them. So I can 100% understand, because they want to see how you write. So if they're not requiring a cover letter, they might require writing samples in that case. Good memory on the timeline. Harold is okay. So Harold is saying, Chaz, look at Nissan. Well, I'm gonna say, look at Nestle. Look at IT at Nestle. What is the best Salesforce certificate for a beginner? Now, I'm not so sure about that because when I was recruiting for Salesforce business analysts, I just asked specific questions about their experience with Salesforce. We did not require them to have a certificate. If they needed a certificate, we would provide it for them. We provide the training. So I'm sorry, I don't have any tips on what the best Salesforce certificate would be, but I would just go directly to the Salesforce site, like go on salesforce.com to see if they're offering any specific certifications. The other thing, if you want to go like a free option or a cheaper option, might be to look at LinkedIn Learning and see if there's any options there. There's also Udemy, UDEMY.com. Udemy, I believe their courses are free. But if you're requiring a certification, you probably want to look at Salesforce. But if you're just doing it because you want to get the experience, you may be okay with just taking some courses online, and a lot of those might be free too. So that would be my advice there. And then, if you're at a company, a lot of times they have, especially bigger companies, they will have specific funding for training. So if they don't have something in house, like with my company, we use LinkedIn Learning, we use some other specific learning companies like Korn Ferry, for example, is a big one. Um, they should offer it. Like, just go through them and have them pay for it. That's always my advice. Like, as far as school, going back to school, getting training, see if you can get the company to pay. Let me see here. I have to pay for the gas. All right, Harold. What about online work from home jobs interview? Yes, good question, Burns. Yes. So some tips for work from home interviews or work from home job interviews. So I would treat them definitely like any other interview, but I would say you definitely want to come prepared with talking about how you can manage virtual work. If you've had any experience in the past with working virtually, I would say definitely have examples ready that you can talk about of where you've been able to handle virtual work. Be able to talk through situational scenarios, like if you needed to do a virtual conference call, how would you go about that? So be able to talk about experience you've had or different scenarios that you might be put in with virtual work. Be ready to talk about, and Burns, if you're interested in work from home jobs, she offers a lot of content about that. So definitely check her out. I'm glad I have you highlighted. Burn, check out her channel because she does offer more support on that specifically. But you definitely want to be prepared and ready to talk about, how you have stable internet connection, if you need a phone, if you have a phone. Be ready to talk about that, but then also be ready to ask questions. Like if you don't have your own laptop, you may need to be ready to purchase your own laptop or ask the company if they provide it. So be ready to just ask what type of tools they offer for the work at home environment, and then also be ready to talk about how you're ready and able to work from home. And if you've done it before in the past, talk about that too. Very good topic, Bernaz. And again, check out Bernaz if you're interested in work from home jobs. She has a lot of content on that. Sounds good, Chaz. Okay, great. Hopefully you're saying sounds good to let the company pay for that training. Trying to save us money out here. Let's see. Hey, Tasha Society. Good to see you. Yeah, hey, Tasha. Thanks for joining. Okay, so Jasmine is offering some advice. So try Lionbridge, which is non-phone or live ops. They are beginner friendly and you can work whenever you want. Okay, Jasmine, I have a question for you. With Lionbridge, I have to look them up. I'm going to make a note. Note to self. Lionbridge and live ops, what type of jobs do they offer? Are these customer service jobs? Like what What type of jobs are they? And I will have a jobs update coming soon. I tried to get a lot of content recorded this week, and I will be editing throughout the week. So, also a note for my people in this live, I will be sharing a video tomorrow. Be sure to check it out because I'm doing a giveaway. Nothing super fancy, but I'm giving away a little money to my subscribers just as a thank you. So check out my video. I think it posts tomorrow, sometimes early in the morning. I want to say either 7:30, 8:30, somewhere around there. All right, let's see here. Jasmine is saying, two chicks with a side hustle just posted a video on 25 beginner-friendly work-from-home jobs. Oh, cool. And some provide laptops or equipment. Very good. I would say just make sure you really know going in what you need and what they're covering, because some companies will not buy the things that you need. They will not. They need you to already have a laptop and a phone and internet and everything. Some companies will provide money for you to basically support your work from home space. Like some companies will give you stipends for getting a desk and your internet and all of that, will provide a laptop for you. So just make sure you have questions prepared to ask about that and make sure you really know what you're getting into. That would be my best advice for anyone that's considering those jobs. And then again, just be ready to talk about, how you've been able to work from home, depending on what job it is. Every company is different. Let me see. Live ops is customer service. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of customer service work from home jobs. Another one that you may want to consider is Zendesk. Here, let me put them in the comments. I shared this in a past video, but Zendesk is another company. I just saw an advertisement by them, probably because I was researching it on their website last week. But they are another company that offers a lot of work from home jobs. And it looks like they're like, I don't remember exactly what the pay was, but I remember thinking in my head, like, oh, this pay is pretty nice. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, they offer a lot of work from home. And what they do is they're basically providing customer support services for different clients. So really big name clients. So definitely check out Zendesk too. I will share it up on the screen. Jasmine, I will have to look up Live Ops and I think you said Lion Bridge. I'll look those up and see if I can find out some details on them. But I know Zendesk, there's definitely been others. I just post so many job videos that I just don't recall them. But this one stood out to me probably because of pay, and then also because I just saw an advertisement for it and thought to myself, so now I'm going to continue getting these advertisements because I went on their site a couple of times. Great. You know how that works. Sometimes I feel like, you talk about something and then you see an advertisement for it. That's crazy. Let me see here. Broadpath and Omni Interactions and Mod Squad. Okay, Jasmine Pearls, you need to get out here and start sharing this stuff. Where's your channel? Where is the channel? No, these are great. I'm gonna look up all of these. Actually, let me do this because if you guys watch me, I know Paulindo and Burnett knows this, but I always have to take notes. If I don't take notes, I'm going to forget it. Broadpath, Omni, Interactions, and so this is going to be you at the, if you're at a dinner interview or a lunch interview, you got to have that pen and your pad ready. And then you also said Live Ops and Lion Bridge. Okay, cool. And then the other thing that you shared, Jasmine, was is this a podcast, Two Chicks with a Side Hustle, or is it a YouTube page? Two Chicks with a Side Hustle. It sounds like a really cool podcast name. All right, let me see here. Some companies will send you overseas for training. I do know that is what Nissan does for new analysts. Look at Harold trying to come in here and take Chaz away from me. I don't know, Chaz, what your real name is. I'm calling you Chaz, even though I know that's your brother's account. But trying to swoop in and take her away. Those for new analysts that have been promoted up the ranks. Okay, so Harold and Chaz, like, hopefully you guys can connect, because if Harold has a connection at Nissan, definitely use it. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased for Nestle, but I mean, you got to use the connections where you can. So here's another tip before I go back to Reddit, because I'm not seeing too many other comments in here. Um, Whenever you can, use a referral. And the reason why I say this is, here's the thing. If we have, I don't know, 200 applications for business analysts, do you really think recruiters are going to look at every single person? Not really. I mean, we're going to look at the top talent and we're going to pick those people out. Now, it's just from what's on the resume. So you could be a great talent, but if you're not representing your resume in a certain way, you could be missed. Now, when someone refers you, either, it's a employee of the company or someone that's a friend of the friend of someone that works there, however way you got to do it, you are typically going to get a chance to talk to the recruiter and sell yourself during that time. So with referrals, that's like the number one. The number one thing I always say with a job search strategy is, who do you know? Who do you know and who do they know? Because as long as you have a good network of people, it can basically make your job search go a lot quicker and a lot easier, because this actually happens to me all the time. Hey, I have a friend that's looking for a job. Okay, well, I'll talk to them. Like, most recruiters are more willing to talk to someone, even if they don't look 100% a match on paper, if they're being referred to someone in the company. So that's my just quick tip there. Let me see here. Harold says, no, I just want everyone to do their best. No, I'm just joking with you, Harold. It's all good. I mean, I want people to find a job wherever they can, whether it's at one company or another. I just want people to get the right opportunity. Ideally, I would love for people to have multiple opportunities to pick from in a perfect world. So yes, I think that's great. And hopefully you and Chaz can connect. My channel. Oh, and Zapier. They are on YouTube. Okay. So the two chicks with side hustle are on YouTube. Cool. I'm gonna check them out. All right. Zapier. Got it. Okay, I'm gonna check out all of these. These might be in my next jobs video. We'll see. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go back to Reddit while I'm kind of seeing if there are any more comments in here. Let me see. Ooh. Now I'm actually going to talk about this one, only because I get this question sometimes too. But so this person is saying, finding an internship in Montreal, Canada. So they're saying, hey everyone, I'm an international student pursuing a master's in finance in Montreal. Have to complete an internship for a semester. Is it possible to land a finance internship in Montreal itself if I'm not fluent in French? I do know some French if it helps, and how early should I start looking? I'm not really familiar with Montreal. There are no comments on this post. I would say, just do some research on the market. Just start looking for internships in finance and see what the basic qualifications are, instead of generally asking folks on Reddit. That would be my first tip. But then two, I mean, right now, why are you limiting yourself just to Montreal? Why don't you look in the United States too? A lot of times, people can find opportunities if the company's willing, especially in a virtual job. Most likely internship is going to be 3 months, maybe 6 months. This is an international student, so it's not like, with international students, the trouble is the fact that companies know that unless they're willing to sponsor your visa, you're most likely not going to transition into a full-time job. So that's the hang up with sometimes international students finding internships. But if it's a really robust internship program where they're hiring like 15 interns, you're more likely to find a internship opportunity. So if you're ever looking for an internship, or if you know someone that's an international student looking for an internship, let them know that they need to look for like big companies, look for companies that are hiring in mass for interns in whatever field they're in, because that's where they're going to most likely get an internship. For smaller companies, they may not want to take that risk, because a lot of the times companies are trying to hire interns not just to get people to do the job, but that's a great way to get entry level talent. So let's say someone does an internship for 3 months, they, they rock it. They just do their best work. They're a great person, everything. Well, if they have an entry level job, which most companies will kind of plan, then they'll offer it to that person that was intern. They already know the company a bit, they know the internal systems, and they can kind of move right in. But when it comes to an international student, companies have to think about, oh my gosh, well, do we really want to sponsor this person after the year that they're, typically we have an F1 visa when it comes to international students. They only have a year. So after that year, we got to sponsor this person. Do we really want to do that? So that's where the trouble is sometimes. Let me see here. Harold is, oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Harold. Hopefully Chad's still in here. A lot of them speak English and French in Montreal. Yes, I have experienced that too, because believe it or not, like we actually have a lot of folks in Canada as well. And then two, we've also had colleagues that are from Canada. Like it's really easy. It's easier than other countries for, Canadians to come to the US and find work and vice versa. So it's pretty common. Harold is saying I'm a ham radio operator. You're so funny. Let me see. Oh, thanks, Percy. You're so nice. Oh, you're so kind. I love you guys. You always make me laugh, make me smile. Alrighty, so those are my tips about the whole finding an internship. So I'm gonna see if there's any other questions I want to answer in here. Reddit just has some weird stuff sometimes. Sometimes I just gotta gloss over some of it to just get to the things that I'm trying to look for. Let's see. Job interview. Here's another one. Another job interview attire type of question. This is an interesting one. Job search tips for housewives. Okay, let's look at this. So we're here to share with you a few job search techniques, tips that will help you in finding the right job and make the transition easier for you. Oh, okay, this is a company trying to sell something, but I'll see what they're saying. So they're saying set some time aside every day for your job search. I agree with that. Revamp your resume and cover letter. I agree with that. Although you guys know how I feel about cover letters. I mean, I don't look at cover letters. Let me see here. Normally, unless I need to. Networking is key. So they are agreeing with me. They are reinforcing the fact that networking is key. All right. Consider taking up a contract or part-time job, research, prepare for interviews. Yeah, I agree with all that. Definitely agree. I think for housewife though, like if you've been a housewife for a while and you're trying to re-enter the job market, you're definitely going to have to depend a lot more on networking and finding work that you can do, whether it's volunteer work or something that you can show. This is what I've been doing over the past 6 months or 3 months, whatever, that's relevant to the job I'm applying for. If you've been 100% a housewife and you haven't been working in your field, it's kind of hard to tell that story of what have you been doing the past, 6 months to a year. So I always recommend if someone's trying to make a career transition or if they're trying to re-enter into the workforce, either do some volunteer work, find some client work you can do, maybe on Fiverr or Upwork or something, a family friend, if you can do some work for them, something where you can walk into an interview and confidently show work that you've been doing over the past 3 to 6 months. That's my advice for anyone that's either doing a career transition or, in this case, you're a housewife and you're trying to, re-enter the workforce. That was an interesting one. Okay. Okay, that's weird. Does anyone else dislike interviewing with roommates around? I just think that's funny. I'm sure that's probably awkward. Oh, okay. I'm gonna read this one. How to get a job with issues. I don't know what that means. Okay, how to get a job with issues. I had to drop out of college and super stuck trying to find a job. My issues are very low vision from a chronic eye illness, okay? Very short and shoddy resume. So I'm talking like 2 jobs, okay? One was a 10-day temporary job, and the other I lost after 2 days from my eyes and not being trained. And my car is broken right now. Oh my gosh, honey. This person has just been through it. Okay, so you're saying I love janitorial work, but the position is about 30 minutes by car. Should I try and walk to it or try to get a cashier job, the only type of position being offered near me? And pray to all things holy, they actually train me this time. If I apply for a cashier job, can I ask more specifically for a stocking or janitorial job? Or is that a no-no? Oh my gosh, they're telling too many details. I grew up in an abusive household and no one ever taught me how to be an adult. Sad face. Woo, honey. Okay. So, first things first, I think this person, if they have a disability and they're saying they have a chronic eye illness, they need to connect to a disability organization. There are plenty of organizations like StarCloth. They will help people with disabilities find work, and they're also affiliated with a lot of really large companies that will offer different resources for people with any kind of disability to be able to perform their job in the right way. So this person's saying they didn't receive training. Well, there are certain companies that don't, even though you're technically required to by law, but they will not provide accommodation. And it depends on how many employees. So it sounds like they're looking at places that are local to them and, small, jobs, janitorial, cashier. I just don't think they will find something if they're looking for their local area. I think that's going to be tough unless they know someone that can help them. So my tip for this person is going to be get connected with StarCloth or some kind of disability center or agency to help. And then also focus on companies that actually promote diversity and inclusion and are actually saying and promoting for people with disabilities and saying that they will provide accommodations for working. So that would be my advice to them. I just think they need some help and support. So they just need to reach out to someone. So that one's kind of sad. I feel bad for that person. I have to remember to share this video so they can, or I might just make a note to them. But I'm just sad to hear that. The job search is already tough, and so when you have a disability, you have these different circumstances that you're in. It just makes it even worse for people, and so that's why I get a little upset when I see companies running job scams. Like there are legit scammers out here saying, "Hey, we have this job opportunity, but then you have to pay to apply or you have to pay to do this background check." It's so scammy. I hate that people do that kind of stuff because it's enough work already. Let's see here. There's this comment on here that says employers need to stop asking for free work, quotes, presentation as part of the application. I've been there. I actually agree with that. I had a company have me do a presentation. It was just like really awkward. Let me see here. Oh, you have to go, Harold. Okay. Thanks for joining. It was nice to see you, and thanks for sharing your details for Chaz. Okay, cool, Chaz. You connected on LinkedIn. Perfect. And you're going to look at Nissan. Okay, great. I'm so glad to hear that. Good. So you guys are connected now. I love it. Percy says, yeah. Percy says, speaking of disability, I thought HIV was considered a disability, but I see people working jobs. Yeah. I do believe HIV is one of the disabilities just like bipolar is a disability as well, technically. Yeah, definitely. Hey, Tasha, you're still in here hanging out. Hey. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's after 8. I'm probably going to get off of here soon. But what is this? Okay, this person is saying they're setting up an interview without the job posting. I don't know what that means. I'm going to read it though. Make sure there's no more comments in here. Okay. All right. So I'm in the middle. This person is saying, I'm in the middle of my job search and have encountered an issue. I'm not sure how to handle it. I got a voicemail from company A wanting to set up, or a company wanting to set up a phone interview, but I think they're trying to say they can't find. So I can't find the job listing anywhere. I know it's something I applied to myself as I got an auto-generated email thanking me for my application, but I can't find anything now that references the post to look over again before I have my phone call. What is the best practice for the situation? Be open up front and say I need a reminder, or wait and try a fake it till you make it approach to see if I can figure out. Oh gosh, don't do that. See if I can figure it out myself during the phone call. I am only applying to specific similar jobs, so I have a rough idea. I just normally like to go into the interview looking at the listing. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, this is something that I always do when I'm looking for a job. I always have an Excel sheet and a folder with documents. So when I go in and apply to jobs, even though it is a little time consuming, I just like it because I can better prepare. So what I do is I will have a tracker of all the jobs that I'm applying to. That way I can note, when I applied, what position it was, and those basic details. So I would have the company name, the title, when I applied, and then a link directly to the job description. And then most of the time, if I'm really interested in the company, I will also save the job description to my own folder. Now, why do I do this is exactly what's happening in this scenario. And I know this as a corporate recruiter. So when a job has been either filled or we have enough applicants, let's say we have 100 applicants, okay, we're good, I've got some people that I want to talk to, I will go ahead and put the position on hold because I don't want people to continue applying to a job if I know I'm not going to have the time to look up their, resume and really consider them. It's just inconsiderate, right? Why do that to people? So I'll put the position on hold. Or if we're in an interviewing stage and we feel like we have, the candidates and everything, and most likely the position is going to get filled soon, I'll put the position on hold. What that hold does is it removes the position off of the website. So when you have this scenario where someone's gotten a phone call or, email to set up a phone interview or a face-to-face interview, whatever, well, they can't find the job anymore. So that's why I do that process, because I already know. I do this, this is my job. I already know that at some point the job description may be taken down. And so I don't want to have to ask them like, hey, can you send me the job description? Now, since this person did not do that, which I know most people don't even think to do that. You don't think like, oh, the company's going to take down the job description during any phase of the interview process. Well, sometimes we do, just because there's no way to put a hold on it with also having the position posted. So anyway, in this scenario, what I would do is just reach out to whoever contacted you about setting up the interview and just letting them know like, hey, I'm really interested in the company and position. As I was preparing, I wanted to make sure I had the job description. I wasn't able to find it using the old link I had. Can you please share the job description with me? So here's what's going to happen. Either they're going to say, take off the hold and say like, oh, let's repost it so people that I talked to this week can actually access the position. Or they will just share you a Word document of the job posting. This is what I would do. Most likely a recruiter's not going to go, no, you should have already seen it. Haha. We're here to help you. Like most recruiters, I mean, there are a small percentage of bad ones out there, but just like any other job, for a majority of us, we want to help you as a job seeker, especially right now in this climate. So just reach out to the person, let them know, like, hey, I've been looking for this job description. I can't find it online anymore. I'm super interested in the company. I just want to make sure I'm preparing for the interview well. Can you please send me the job description? I would be very surprised if someone was like, no, right? That's just wrong. Let me see here. Paolina, are you still in here too? Hey. Let's see. Sincere Naranjo. Hey, how are you? I'm doing well. Thanks for stepping in. Hey, King of Kills. See you back in here. Let's see. Do you have some advice about how to be humble or how to live with grace? Huh, that's interesting. I don't know if that's really related to the whole job topic, but I think as far as just being humble, I think it just comes from being relatable to people. And so always staying grounded. So for me, I mean, I'm not like this super rich celebrity or someone like that. Like there are people that are not humble because they're put on a pedestal every day. But there are other people that are celebrity or are super rich or whatever, and they're still able to stay humble because they're able to be grounded and stay connected with the everyday people. So I think, just being really connected and knowing that things, generally everything around us is pretty much vanity, will probably keep you pretty humble. What was the other part of your question? Oh, living with grace. Just again, being connected with people, just seeing people as people and knowing that, a lot of things around us are vanity, but what's real are the people that we see every day and the people that we touch every day. Hey, partly cloudy. How's it going? I'm doing well. How are you? It is Monday. It's been a chill Monday, and that's why I'm here. I thought it would be a chill Monday, but if it had been a hectic Monday, the slide would have been cut. So, no, things are good. Nice to see you. Oh, Burns agrees. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Harold. Oh, Chaz is saying, okay, so Harold, I'm not seeing you. You can send me a message on LinkedIn and I will answer you. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if Chaz was saying she connected with me or you, Harold, but definitely Chaz connect with both of us. I mean, Harold sounds like he has some good connections at Nissan, so definitely use that. And you just never know how you will network with people. My first mentor came through a scholarship program I had for college, and it was this old, like, just we would have just never met in everyday life. Like, he was way older than me, white male, lived on the West Coast, but went to my high school back in the day. And so when I got the scholarship, it came with my mentor, who I would have never connected with. But I stay connected with this man. He actually helped me get my first job, well, my first internship, and then which turned into my first big girl job. And yeah, we stay connected, but just whenever we would be out, like if we go out to coffee or something, people would give us weird looks because I think people thought he was my sugar daddy or something. Super off topic. But all of that to say, you just never know who someone, no matter what they look like or if you're connected with them because you have real interest with them or you're, it can happen in a lot of different ways. So it's not always who you might think. But yeah, he totally different. I would have never thought, but he really helped me and guided me to the path of HR, which is the field I've been working in. So let me see here. I don't know why, but I feel like I needed to say that. Let me see here. Hey, Paulindo. Oh, it's late. Oh my goodness, 3:20 a.m. You are my fan. Okay, I see you, Paulindo. Well, if you need to get some sleep, just get some sleep. But I can understand sometimes some people have trouble sleeping too. Let me see here. Yep, are you able to send a link? Let me see if I can make Harold, if you're still on here, I think I can make you a moderator and then you'll be able to send a link. I'll add you as a moderator, Harold. So hopefully you can send your link to Chaz now for your LinkedIn. Okay, you did add me earlier. Okay, cool. Nice to connect with you, Chaz. King of Kill. That'll be dope if your channel becomes a hub for networking. Oh my gosh, yes, I would love that. Yes, I love networking. Especially, I like networking like back in the day, you know, like 2019 before we were all virtual. We could actually see people in person. I like to, you know, my uncle actually says this. He says he has to see people eyeball to eyeball. Like if he's doing any kind of deal, he has to see a person face to face. But yeah, I miss making connections with people that way. So yes, I would love that. All right, let me see here. Okay, cool, Hera, you are a moderator. Alrighty. Back to the Reddit world. Let me see if there's anything else that I feel the need to respond to out here. And for people that just came in, I made this announcement earlier, but definitely check out my video tomorrow morning. I am going to be sharing my news about a giveaway. So I will be doing a little small giveaway just to give back to people, you know, to my friends out here on YouTube. So definitely stay tuned tomorrow morning. And then I did share a video this morning. Check it out. It's basically a rant slash advice for phone interviewing. So all right, let me see here. There are so many job advertisements out here on Reddit. Like I'm kind of suspect. Ooh, let me see here. I like this one. So I work in retail and I found out that people who have been there for a shorter amount of time than I have are making more money. What's the advice? So actually this one might have been addressed. So update, they're saying I went in and asked my general manager. I said I heard some people talking recently and they say they're making $10 an hour. $10 an hour. Like, see, these are the things that keep me humble right here. Like understanding how much money people are making. I can't even imagine living on that right now. But anyway, I'll keep going. And have been here a shorter amount of time than I have, but we do the same or I do a little more work. The first thing she said was, can I ask who told you that? Because you're not supposed to talk about pay. That's not true. Most places in the United States, you can talk about pay. I don't know where she is. Like it is possible she's in one of those states, but most states in the United States, you can definitely talk about pay. That manager's just being petty. Okay, let me see here. And I said in the nicest way as I could, I actually looked it up and it's not illegal. And yes, honey, she said I looked it up and it is not illegal. Just what I was saying. And I checked the employee handbook. Okay. And everything. And she said, okay, it was illegal at one point. Yeah, years ago, it was illegal. She said she would talk to the regional manager and see if she can get me to $10. I was very nervous, but did my best. She should, as she should. If other people are getting paid that rate and they're in the same job, she should do that. Update 2. I didn't expect to get an answer from the manager this fast, but she talked to a regional manager and they bumped me to $10.25 an hour, which I'm happy with. Thank you guys for all the advice. Oh, that's good. Well, that one I didn't even have to address. But yes, I feel like, you know, people should know that it's not illegal to talk about pay, whether that's hourly pay or salaried, in most states in the United States. So yeah, let me see here. Oh, Paulina, you can stay up. Hey, now am I gonna stay up that late? No, sir. But I will stay on here for a little bit. Okay, Harold's dropping his LinkedIn and Chaz is connected. Hey, nice. I'm so glad. So you got contacts at Nissan and Nestle. Look at you. Just from joining a YouTube video. Can you imagine? No, but I think, you know, business analysts, I am assuming we would have some business analyst jobs available Q1. Like, I'm already ready for it. I don't know all the jobs that are coming, but I know they're coming in January. So a lot of recruiters are feeling the same way. I talked to one of my, well, I guess I can call her friend at this point, but she works at an agency, and she's got years and years of experience working in agency life. When I say agency, I mean a recruiter that works on multiple positions with different companies. I work with one company as a corporate recruiter, but there are agency recruiters that work with multiple companies or clients. And so they're great to talk to as well because they know generally the market in their area. But she was saying she knows that there's going to be more demand in January too. Let me see here. How to follow up after a job interview. This one doesn't have any thumbs up on here. What if you could gauge an employer's interest in you during the job interview? Find out how well the interview went and where you stand with this one simple question. They're providing a link. I don't want to click on it. I'm scared. I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be anything gross or anything sketchy or like trying to hack me or anything. Okay, let me look at this one. Interview doesn't go well. Should I still follow up for feedback or response? Yes, always. Sometimes you don't feel like an interview went particularly well. I actually, my trainer job, so I took on a trainer job in 2018, and I felt like I did not get the job after the interview. Not that I felt that I did badly, but it was just the look that my future manager had on her face. Like, it was just like the entire time. So I had spoke with this woman over the phone. She sounded great. We really connected. Then I came on site to interview and present to them the entire time. It was a group interview. So it was the manager, so a lady, and then two men. So her manager and then one of her colleagues. And during the whole time, the men were smiling. One of the men were like shaking their head and nodding and smiling during my presentation. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, I got this in the bag. And with her, I kept looking at her and it was just like, and I'm just like, man. So after the interview, I just thought, like, gosh, I could not get her. I don't think I'm going to get that offer. And I got the offer. And when I came aboard and I talked to her about it, I was just like, yeah, I did not think I was going to get the job because you were just like stern in the face the entire time. And she actually told me that she knew she was going to hire me after one, she knew she wanted to hire me after our phone conversation. And then it was reinforced when she saw me in person. And so I was just like, really? I would not have ever thought. And she was just like, yeah, I just didn't want to give it away. Plus, I really didn't want to go through with the interview because I had already made up my mind. So sometimes, the hiring manager already knows what they want to do. But then to my scenario, I had, the two other folks, her manager, typically they have to have an okay from other team members. So we all have to be in agreement. My manager has to agree and like the person too and get the okay, and then we can move forward. So it's interesting. You just never know. But yeah, I think you should always follow up. Oh, Paolindo, you're funny. But yeah, so you just never know. All right, here. So my computer, I need to charge up. It's gonna die soon. So I think it's 8:30 now. I'll kind of stay on here and hang out. I think since I'm already hitting 8:30. A lot of people on YouTube say you should stay on until like 8:45 because something about the hours. So I'm just gonna stay on for another 10 minutes since it's 8:30 already. So let me see here. I'm gonna check the comments because you guys know sometimes I miss things. I can be really bad at that. That is so interesting that this one guy that came in earlier was just like, not having it. He was like, these questions are quite bad. No one is overqualified. Oh my goodness. I had to laugh at that. Okay, I think I'm all set. Okay, let me see what else is out here for my last 10 minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and chilling and watching me talk about and rant about jobs as I do normally. Let me see here. Oh, I'm not even in the right thing. Okay. What? Okay, I gotta read this one. So this person's saying, HR wants me to call her to conduct my own interview. What? What is going on here? Hi guys, this person says, I recently received a text message from the HR. Okay, I'm already like red flags. Okay. That they're so interested in me to fill the position that I had earlier declined for. The HR, why are they saying the HR instead of HR? Okay. The HR has communicated with me on LinkedIn to schedule an interview. The glitch is that she asked me to call her, and so I did. To my surprise, I got a switched off message on her call. I informed the HR about the situation. She texted me again, post 24 hours, no apology on LinkedIn to call her tomorrow. My pride is hurt. I believe as the HR, she should have taken some initiative to schedule an interview rather than asking me to call her. What should I make of this situation? Have you experienced something like this? I appreciate your thoughts. That just sounds unprofessional. That's a red flag. The fact that, okay, so you didn't get the job and then you get a text message saying that they're still interested. If I were in a scenario where, okay, maybe we offered to a candidate, they didn't accept, and the hiring manager said, like, hey, we actually want to bring back such and such. They seem good. I'm going to call the person and talk with them. If I can't reach them by phone, I'll leave them a voicemail. If I still can't hear back from them, I'll follow up with an email. That's the process. Like, I don't know why some people are so afraid to just pick up the phone and talk to people. Like, just talk. A lot of times it's way easier to talk, and I may be a little biased. I'm actually an introvert, but, or maybe I'm more of an ambivert, but just talk to people. It's easier. It's easier to convey a message and get things across when you talk to people. So I think that's totally unprofessional to just text somebody, hey, we're still interested in you. And then also with setting up the interview, typically what the process is you want to send them some details on the interview, help them as much as you can ahead of time on how to prepare. And I call the person. I ask them what phone number they like to be reached at, and I call them. Now, sometimes you have the case where someone wants to say, like, oh, can I just call you at that time? I'm fine with that. That's okay. But that just seems lazy, in my opinion. I don't like that at all. I think this person dodged a bullet and should not feel bad at all for that. Like, as soon as I heard text message, I was just like, no. Let me see here. I feel like I have a lot of interest in tech, but the analyst role is something I'm gravitating towards. So, Chaz, and I don't know your real name. I'm sorry. I haven't looked at LinkedIn yet. But hey, why do you gravitate towards the business analyst roles? I want to learn more about that. And you're welcome for the video. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad they're helpful. But you can also follow up with me on LinkedIn. We could do like a consultation or something. So since you're a student, I'll probably just do something complimentary for you. But I normally do charge. But if you're interested in a consultation with me, feel free to just send me a message letting me know that. And I will send you my Calendly where you can book directly on my calendar. Now, that is something that's different. now that I'm bringing that up. Some recruiters will use Calendly, which is an app where you can send the person your Calendly. It has your calendar and availability, and they can go in and pick specific times that they would like to talk to you. Now, I like that model because you're still reaching out to the person and saying, "Hey, we want to talk to you. Please schedule time to talk." But you're also giving that candidate the opportunity to pick a good time for them, because some people are afternoon people, some people are morning, folks, and they have that flexibility. So I actually like that scenario, but not just like a text message of like, "Hey, we wanna interview you again." Let me see. Dude was impatient. Yeah, the one that was in here earlier. Yeah, I was like, chill. Okay, guys, you guys know how my lives are. I am chill. I'm just like, I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna look at the comments. We're gonna have a little balance. It's gonna work out. This guy was like, I want my answers. Let me know right now. Kind of like a kid. Like, how, especially my little, my cousins, I have some boy cousins, and they're like, now. They want it now. Kids are like that, not adults. Okay, Harold, bye. So you're out for real this time. Have a good night. Nice to see you here. Let me see here. Don't forget about the island jobs. I have it. I have it on my notepad. I got it. I got it. It's coming. Now, I will say my next couple of videos this week are not going to be about the island jobs because I've already pre-recorded them. I'm just editing them now. So it'll probably be next week. It'll be in 2021, island jobs. So you got it though, King of Kills. Chaz. Okay, cool. Perfect. I will look forward to talking with you. Alrighty, so let me see. I got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. What? Okay, this is just a weird, I don't even know. This is a weird question. All right. Was asked this question in an interview about how I would approach a case of corruption. Okay, I felt like it was a trick question. That sounds like a setup. I'm like, what kind of job is this for? Government? FBI? What is this? Like, unless it's like a fraud analyst, I don't know. Okay, it's one of those. So they're saying, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You guys know I don't curse, but I'm saying that in context. It's one of those scenarios. Couple of thoughts ran through my mind. Either A, it was common practice amongst the manager to engage in misappropriating funds, and he was checking to see if I was a culture fit. Or B, he wanted to determine if I was a snitch or not. What in the world was the question, is what I want to know. What was the question? Okay, so my reply was if the company had a strict policy against such practices. They don't say what the scenario is, it sounds like. But if the company had a strict policy against such practices and guidelines on how to approach such cases with guaranteed safety and anonymity, i.e. a dedicated whistleblower email address, I would gather as much information and evidence as possible and go ahead and bring it to the attention of the concerned parties and management. Interview through a curveball. Was my reply a good answer? I can't answer that without knowing more. What was the scenario? I have no idea. Someone even writes there in the comments, there was no scenario given. It was a general question. It wasn't an interview. What? Oh, okay, they're responding. Okay. There was no scenario given. It was a general question. It wasn't interviewing for a role where I would typically detect a scandal. I think that's just a bad interview question. I think that's stupid. If it doesn't have anything in relation to the job at hand, I just don't even understand why anyone would ask that question. Or unless they're changing or leaving something out of the scenario, but that just sounds really, really weird. Let me see. done with the interview, but the hiring manager never used my name throughout the interview. And I felt like I was conducting the interview to him. Are those negative or positive signs? Yeah, if you're feeling weird about it, I would just say it's probably not a good sign. He might have just forgot your name and didn't want to ask you to repeat your name. But if he forgot your name, that means he must not have had your resume or something. Like, that's really weird. Or maybe he didn't know how to pronounce your name. That happens sometimes. For me, I always just ask people up front, like, hey, how do you pronounce your name? Or, I'll say their name and I'll say, did I pronounce your name correctly? And then they'll let me know. But some people are really like cautious about that. They don't want to mispronounce your name. So they just won't say it. They just will avoid saying your name, which is kind of funny. That could be what happened in this scenario. So I don't know. I wouldn't give it too much thought. If nothing else weird happened, you might be okay. So anyway, it is now 8:45. So I am going to get off of here, and I see that Burns, you have to let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly too, because I know I'm messing it up one way or the other. But that's all I have tonight. If you guys like this timing, let me know. I'm sure I can weave in some evening conversations, like maybe on a Monday, Tuesday, maybe a Thursday night. Normally, I go live on weekends just because it's a lot easier for me with managing my work day and then, having the afternoon or evening to talk because I talk a lot all day. I won't lie, I do like to talk on occasion, but especially on topics that I'm interested in. But during the evenings, during the week, I typically just kind of wind down. So this was kind of a special thing because this week is just a little more chill, not as much going on since a lot of people are out for the holidays and stuff. So I figured it'd be nice to have this kind of chit chat. But before I let you go, another reminder, be sure to check out my video tomorrow because I am doing a giveaway. And I definitely want all of my subscribers, especially my loyal ones, the ones that have been here with me from day one, the ones that are super supportive, to be included in that giveaway because there will be only one winner. One. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. For anyone watching a replay, thank you for joining. Thank you for rewatching me. And I will see you in my next live or my next video. Bye, guys. Nice to see you. Have a good night.